Welcome back to episode 27 of NAmen LCS Spring Finals Edition. Woo! My name is Numiii. I'm going to be your host again for this episode. We have a really fun episode because all of us went to LCS Spring Finals. One actually worked LCS Spring Finals, so really excited to have our lovely guests on, and I'm going to have us introduce themselves. So as you heard, my name is Numiii, Numiii, and I'm going to be your host for this episode. And then starting off with Beat. Go ahead and introduce yourself too.
Oh, okay. That was a practice. Okay. Um, Beatdown Boulevard, uh, NACL caster. I'm new. A Kali connoisseur. Uh, yeah. I play Q champions. That's all I got.
Hi, I'm Delphi, Delphi.wave. Like, I just went through emotional ruin. Got destroyed on Twitter. I don't want to talk about it.
Oh, that was today?
Yeah, that was like 30 minutes ago.
Hold
Are
on,
you
I
sure
gotta
you don't
like
want to
that
talk
tweet.
about it? It sounds like something you're like trying to live up to.
Anyway, so I went to finals. It was really fun. Very excited to talk about it. Met all my friends. Ryan?
And hello, my name is Ryan. I'm the Team Operations Associate at Golden Guardians, which is a fancy title as just team manager. I'm glad to be here.
I'm really excited to have Beat and Ryan on this episode. All of us, including myself and Delphi, went to spring finals, so we had a lot of fun in North Carolina. I can definitely say that 2 days after traveling, I am still recovering. I feel like I spent the whole weekend sleeping, eating, going out, watching the games, and then restarting it. So this
Yup.
is my first LCS
Yup.
finals, and no one bothers to tell me that this is all you do at live events. You find people, you have problems making plans with people, you spend $1,000 on K barbecue. Shout out Colomer
Hey,
for
he's
that.
getting. Wait, how many people have paid him back? We need to know about that.
Out of the 13, I think 7 has paid us back. So,
Okay.
but I enjoyed North Carolina. That was my first time in that state. I got a lot of local recommendations for barbecue to go to Cookout. Yeah, did we all have a good time in North Carolina? It was my first time. I don't know about anyone else personally.
I've been in North Carolina, but it was only ever like for swim meets and stuff. So that's my first time kind of traveling for fun. So it was definitely a lot better because the swim meet we used to go to in North Carolina, we would get stomped because it was a dual meet and it was terrible. But this was so much more fun than that. I got to see my friends. I got to go out. It was really nice.
Yeah, I love North Carolina. I think the we had some travel issues. I think as most people and most teams did. But you know what? It's beautiful with all the trees. You don't get too many of those in LA. The weather was, it is what it is. But the last day
It
was
was
nice. The day we left
Yeah, I
was
was gonna
nice,
say.
which was
it was
fun.
pouring.
No, but
For
even
starters,
finals
most
day was
people
great too, wasn't it?
Saturday was pouring. It was 100%
Yeah.
chance of rain. By the time we all got out of the arena, the poor Ubers and Lyft drivers trying to pick us up like had a hard time, and like 60 of us were just outside waiting for our Uber. I feel really bad. But
Yeah. I will
yeah.
say
What
Uber
about Pete?
drivers got the bag that day.
What did you think, Pete? That was your first time in North Carolina, right?
No, I actually went to Outer Banks last summer, which is a
Ah,
little further, I think, from Raleigh. I haven't actually looked at a map, but I had North Carolina barbecue for the first time, and I'm gonna be real, Texas is better.
mm,
Yeah.
I had I had it too. Granted, the location I went was like an hour before closing, and I thought my meal was okay. I had a beef brisket,
Mhm.
but I know other people had like the specialty meal and they thought it was okay. Again, I
Yeah.
went an hour before closing, so I don't know if that affected it. I mean, I live in like California, Southern California, like there's a lot of food here. But
Yeah.
it's not that I didn't enjoy it. It's just like I was very hungry after day 2. So,
Valid.
but yeah, definitely talking about like flight delays. I definitely had a flight delay. I don't if you follow me on Twitter, you saw that Delta Airlines decided to delay my flight from 9:30 p.m. to 7 in the morning. So, because of a curfew at my local airport, I was delayed for 7 hours. I had one hotel voucher, I had two Lyft vouchers, and they're like, "You're just have to gonna find another flight." So, I was supposed to arrive in North Carolina at 8 in the morning, and I came at 7 p.m. So, I would just like to shout out Delta Airlines for not only giving me a hotel and Lyft voucher, but also a $175 voucher saying we apologize and don't know if I want to fly with you again. But I mean, I was not the only one with problems. I think Digon had problems as well. He flew Delta. So Delta, you almost ruined my experience, but I came to North Carolina one piece, and that's what matters for me.
Did you do a direct flight?
What's up?
Did you do a direct flight from?
So my original flight had 1 stop, and I had to do 2 stops when I rebooked.
Mm.
So, anyone who's traveling, the biggest advice they don't tell you, don't give yourself a 40-minute
No,
layover
it's
and then
not playable.
realize that your terminal is on the other side of the airport. Especially, like, I don't know these airports, right? So I'm not only freaking out because I have at least 30 to 40 minutes to get to the other side, but also, like, I don't know where anything is. So, like, the panic combined with, like, not knowing the location, definitely not doing that again. Definitely give yourself an hour if you have a layover, because that was not a fun experience for me. I got off the plane, went on the air train, got to my gate, and then literally went back on the plane in like a 30-minute span.
45-minute layovers are actually traps. Never take them ever in your life. You
No,
need at
I don't
least
know
an
why.
hour.
I don't know why no one told me this, and maybe I should have been smart and looked at it, but definitely, like, don't do
mean,
the 40-minute layover.
It
Do an
feels
hour.
it feels good in the moment because layovers suck, and you're like, only 45 minutes. That's based. Like I'm gonna. It's basically done. Not even a stop. But then, yeah, you gotta make it. You gotta make the haul.
Yeah, but I mean, the flight was fine for what it was. I actually met an Uber driver who said that his son plays for a collegiate team. So I was just like, oh, let me hook your son up with tickets. And then one of my friends that I had helped a while back was like, hey, Angie, the person that you helped get tickets, he plays on my team. I was like, oh, you're his
Wow.
coach then, or like you work with him. So I thought this was a really cool experience. Like, I met some people, like my Uber drivers were like, oh, you're here for League, right? Like, I was just like, oh, a lot of us are probably here for League of Legends. You're probably gonna drive them in the next 3 days. And I met someone who was like really in tune with Twitch, and he's like, yeah, like I love streaming. Like streaming culture is really cool, and I had a really cool conversation with him. So it was really nice to talk to the locals and like Uber drivers, like even people I met at the arena, or even people at like restaurants. I was just like, what's good here? I'm from California, and everyone was
Yeah.
really nice. So I do want to shout out like any local or like anyone I talked to over the weekend, like it really helped me because I'm not from the area at all. Like, I'm from California. Like, I don't know this area. So I
Yeah.
really appreciate everyone being like super nice and open. And even though people didn't know what like League of Legends was, at least a lot of people are like, hey, it's really cool that you're here for a tournament and you're here to like support people, even if they didn't understand fully.
Yeah, I will say Southern hospitality is no joke because everybody was really nice. I agree. And apparently, we brought what was that tweet where they said like, God, so much money came through because of LCS finals into
It's like
Raleigh.
Yeah,
What was
so
the number?
1.6 million
it
or
is a
something.
$1.6 million. I'm a little like I have some problems with that article only because they didn't fully announce, like it was just a number stated. I don't think I fully looked into like where they got that number. But
Mhm.
according to that article, which I will link in the description, the spring finals event generated $1.6 million, which
Mhm.
I thought was very interesting and kind of goes to show that like bringing live events outside of Los Angeles or outside of Santa Monica like can bring economic value, whether
Yeah.
or not the economic value is like put elsewhere. Like I don't know where that money goes afterwards. It's kind of cool to think about that from like a monetary perspective. I thought that was kind of interesting.
Yeah, I think it's really cool to see like we do actually have an effect on like the people, the places we went. I think Kami said it. She said something about like it's really good that like actually let me see if I can find it. What?
You can do it. I believe in you.
Stop it. She said basically she said the exposure brought to Raleigh is definitely a major plus because like Raleigh's not super known for anything besides
Finals.
like Duke and UNC Chapel Hill.
And also the the Carolina Hurricanes, the NHL team.
Yeah, man, I know about hockey for sure.
I mean, I only know because they have the flags all over the PNC.
Oh, they do. I just did not know the name of the team. I saw they had a bunch of hockey stuff.
Respect.
Yeah, I want to shout out David Shynock for when I messaged him all the time. I'm like, can you tell me what to eat here? Because I don't know what to eat here. So shout
Valid.
out David Shynock for giving me recommendations. And like when I went to cook out a second time, like, hey, I had this meal. Can you tell me what to get a second time? So I appreciate you for telling me what I should eat there, like on the fly too. Like it was an instant response. It was not like a five
Wow.
minute delay. Like it was instant.
I
You
think
know,
the
I didn't
only
get to
thing
go to.
yeah, I
While
was
I was
gonna
there.
say me neither. That's like the only thing I missed out on.
Y'all have
Really.
never been to Cookout?
No,
No.
I
I
went.
Oh,
went twice.
right. I grew up in the South. My bad.
Yeah, actually,
So
you are bad.
I thought Cookout kind of reminded me
Whoa,
of Five Guys.
chill.
I thought Cookout kind of reminded me of Five Guys in the sense of how you order. I don't know if the quality is the same, but like it kind of reminded me of Five Guys. I
It's
don't know if I'm going
worse.
to be flamed
Wait,
for that
Cookout's
what?
opinion. It is
mid.
worse than Five Guys. I think the quality may be a little worse.
Oh
I
yeah, I
don't know if
remember
I'll
you
be
actually
flamed for
saying
this
that.
opinion, but
Yeah.
how you order is very similar, which I appreciated. But the employee I got was like, "Can you wait a minute? Like, I have to deal with a rude customer." And she like muted her headset, and I was just sitting there like, Are we good? Like, can I order?"
Yeah.
So, but
I
yeah,
like that she told you that. That's kind of funny.
yeah, it's like she muted her headset. She's just like, I have some like I need to take care of this. I'm like, okay, like go ahead. So
Mhm.
but yeah, North Carolina was pretty cool, but what's even cooler was that we had two amazing series. So Saturday we had FlyQuest versus Golden Guardians. Not only was this a series to determine who would play against C9 the day after, but it's also to send a second representative from North America to MSI. So our mid-seasonal invitational, which is happening in London this year in about less than a month, give or take, NA is allowed 2 seeds, which is a little different from previous years. We've been allowed 1 seed. So C9 locked in their spot, I believe, last week, and this game was to determine not only who plays C9, but also lock in a second seed as well. So FlyQuest has a very interesting like storyline with their own players, like Prince coming in from LCK, Vikla coming in as well, and then you also have the Golden Guardians, kind of like Gauntlet, like Glitter Run in a way, a very underdog story, and then just definitely describing like Licorice and Huhi coming up to like an international tournament their first time in I believe like 7 years. Someone quote me if that's wrong. So I definitely enjoyed this series. I did not expect 5 games. I don't know if anyone else wants to comment. I expected at least 4. But definitely did not expect Silver Scrapes in PNC Arena for 5 games. But what did everyone else think of this? Think of this series of Saturday's match?
I don't. I'm not gonna say it was. It was really interesting, actually. I will say basically the only reason. Okay, when I tell you guys I am a very sleepy person, I fell asleep at semifinals. I fell asleep here. I fell asleep every single week when I watch LCS.
You fell
Like
asleep
Okay.
at
So funny.
LCS when you saw me.
I
I
did
think it
fall asleep
was
at
wait,
LCS in the
it was the
studio.
Seal it was the CLG game. I don't
It was
remember who they were playing.
CLGTL.
But like I was yelling for CLG as
I was
Delphi's head is in my lap and I'm
I
like,
was
I'm going
legit
to
just
wake her
sleeping.
up.
Yeah, yeah. That's so
Uh,
funny.
yeah, so me falling asleep has no indication on like if the series is entertaining or not, because I only fell asleep during game 3. So
Yeah, that's a good game to
That
fall
game, that
asleep.
game was slow also.
yeah. So I I was a little bit sleepy, but the games that I watched, I watched like probably 95% of the game. Like they were good. Like it was fun to watch. It was very interesting. I felt that game 4, that Licorice super play, oh my god, I was not joking when I said, like, the arena exploded. People were screaming, there was people next to me, like, standing up and clapping and stuff, and then they won the game off of that. Oh, it was so crazy. The games were so good, and it was so exciting to watch the Golden Guardian staff. I guess Ryan can tell you about this.
Yeah.
Like, the Golden Guardian staff, like, kinda run to the stage, and, like, it was really fun.
That game 4, like, okay, I mean, Trevor,
You
6-8.
can do it.
6-8 said this in an interview with Egon. Like, we should have lost that game for sure. We should have lost that game. And we were all sitting in the room, and I was starting to just pack up. Like, it was looking doomed. And then Gory got a double kill mid lane, and we're like, oh, maybe it's winnable. And then just ended like 2 minutes later. We just went crazy after that. My coach, Spooks, he was saying like, he's like, yeah, I didn't expect to do draft again. He thought he was done. Yeah, so
Oh
that was a
no.
crazy series. From a LC like a fan standpoint, that I'm glad that series was there. Like even like both series, even the Fly one and the C9 one, were both like competitive and good, and wasn't just like 3-0 stomps. So I think it was a really fun time as a GG employee. It was very stressful for sure. I think there
Yeah.
was more pressure on that Saturday match than the Sunday match.
Yeah.
We actually knew ahead of time that Winsome was playing before they announced it.
Oh,
Okay,
really?
good.
Huh.
Well, we I think the day before, which are Friday, they announced it Friday, right? So
Yeah, they announced it like Friday night.
we
I remember that.
figured it out
Oh,
Thursday night.
ah.
Um, because we were looking at op.gg's and we saw that all the like the main four players stopped playing solo queue at a certain time. And then we saw that Ayla was still playing solo queue. And so we're like, okay, well that should mean something. And then Gory, he all he does in his free time is watch like league games and um like league on his like YouTube and then looking at op.gg's. He found Winsome's op.gg and he was like the op.gg detective. And so we figured
Wait,
it
that's
out a day
hilarious.
before. Um it was pretty funny. We're all playing card games like on the floor of our scrim room, and then Gory is just at his computer, just scouring op.gg. And
My
he's like, I
goat,
found it.
totally.
And we're like, you found it.
You found
That's
That's
what? You
amazing.
found that's
Found
funny,
Winsome's
actually.
OPGG.
and
Um,
then it was confirmed when we were at Tech Check that afternoon, Friday afternoon.
I had heard this story because I was working the Caster Couch FlyQuest event with Travis Gafford, like Hotline League as well. So, and I did hear Enero's, I think it was Enero or
Yeah,
Papa
it was
Smithy,
an
one of the
arrow.
two. They said it on Hotline League. The news actually dropped officially on Twitter as Papa Smithy was walking up to the Hotline League stage. So a lot of people in chat were like, Winsome, Winsome. And then Travis is like, why are we talking about Winsome? And I'm spamming like the Twitter link. And then Travis is like, oh, why is my community manager spamming this? And then he watches it. And then Papa Smithy's like, oh, where like when someone's gonna sub in, I was just like, Travis, I need you to open my links like before you bring on like the CGO or like an actual org person like on the stage, please.
No.
But I thought it was interesting that they subbed in Winsome. I I feel like someone else here can definitely comment more than I did, but I think like the first did FlyQuest win the first game? I think.
Yeah, it
They
I mean,
was
did.
Yeah.
I thought
Fly.
they
It was
looked
They
good
won
that
two
basically
four
game.
five. They won 2-4-5. Like Golden
Yeah,
Guardians.
yeah. Oh, I remember because there was a copy pasta just like you are here in the Golden Guardians story, and it was like for the C9 match too.
Guys, I
I
don't want to talk about it. Grr. Grr. I'm an Ayla enjoyer. That's one of the main reasons I wanted
that's
FlyQuest to
fair.
win. I purchased an Ayla jersey to wear to the arena on Saturday. And imagine my surprise when I look on Friday and it's like Ayla's benched. I was like, okay, well, I'm cheering for Golden Guardians.
It's funny because like I was the opposite when I like FlyQuest already as a team and an org and everything, but when they subbed in Winsome because one we were waiting for him in like Challengers League once Ayla finally came, and then when he played in Challengers League, FlyQuest Challengers went crazy. And he's a funny dude. So as soon as I see him in
Winsome's
LCS,
chill.
I'm
Winsome's
like, let's
cool.
go Winsome. No offense, Ryan, I like you guys too, but you know what I mean.
yeah, of course.
Yeah. But that was cool. I think the change like I was talking about it with Rafa actually the other night too, where we're not really we're like talking about whether or not we think it's a permanent change or it was a temporary change. I personally believe it's I don't want to say band-aid because it doesn't feel right, but the team had a good amount of success with Winsome, and I think the goal there was to I think they're gonna play Ayla come summer, but to get top two to like beat Golden Guardians and things like that, they wanted to go back with what was working with them, and that was Winsome. So I think no matter how that ended up shaping out, I would bet FlyQuest are gonna have Ayla play in summer because I think he just never had dude never got a fair shot. Let's be real.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting to see what they do for summer,
Yeah,
like you
Yeah,
said.
I'm definitely interested to see what FlyQuest. I don't know if they'll make roster changes, right? But I'm interested to see what they'll do with this roster. If they're gonna keep it, if they're gonna like keep Ayla or Winston. Like I'm interested to see what they'll
yeah,
do for summer because I think they definitely like prove themselves at least at the beginning of the split. Just be like, we are here to win, we are here to dominate, and this is how we're gonna do it. I know a lot of people had some concerns with their games at the end of the season, but I personally
yeah.
think FlyQuest accomplished at least what they wanted to do is to prove that we have someone we can play around. We have Prince, we have Vikla,
Absolutely.
like we have Impact and Spica and like whatever support Ayla or Winsome. Like we are here to win it and this is how we're gonna do it. So I personally can applaud FlyQuest for that. I I know they wanted to win summer or at least spring split. But
Mhm.
I can say that at least like they gained a lot of fans this split and I think it showed that like they are ready to win not only games but fans as well. So I will applaud them for that. I'm excited to see what they'll do for summer in terms of the roster and just like team structure and like how they want to reach out to fans. Shout out to FlyQuest Twitter account, by the way. You guys are actually chronically online. Like I will mention Spica in a tweet and then like Spica will reply to me. Like whoever is doing your social media, like you guys are on it. Like it is scary. Like I don't even have to add the player. You'll just DM it to the player. Like you guys are on it. So
Park Mom, my
Park
goat.
Mom
Yeah,
and Shot. It's Park Mom and
yeah.
Shot. I think the two of them are managing that.
They're
So
both really cool.
shout out to the two of you. You guys are chronically online. I appreciate them though
Damn.
because I'm chronically online.
Real
I mean,
shit.
we all are in some way.
Let's be real, all of us are chronically online.
Legit. Shout out to Avali
Wait,
as well. I agree. Avali is also so fucking funny for like no reason.
She's one of the
um,
funniest people I've
Amelie
ever
was
met.
filming content, I think. I just saw her with a GoPro and then someone else with a
I did
GoPro, and
too.
she's just like yelling, not yelling at fans, but like definitely in people's faces, like, "Are you excited for today?" I'm like, "Oh, you
She's trying to
like I
trade
want to see this
jerseys.
real."
Like if you
Yeah,
gave a
yeah, I saw
team
that.
jersey to her, she would give the FlyQuest jersey.
Yeah. Shout out Amelie. She worked very hard on the caster
I
couch
saw her
FlyQuest event.
dragging Parker around, like making him film stuff.
Yeah.
It was so funny.
But yeah, excited. The winner of that series was the Golden Guardians, and they went on to play C9. So, do we want to talk about day two? So, this was Sunday's series, C9 versus Golden Guardians. I will say congratulations to Golden Guardians. You have locked in your spot for MSI. You were going to represent NA for MSI. There was a huge storyline about like Huhi and Licorice, I believe, like going to an international tournament, which I'm a very new fan. I did not know that existed, or at least
Me
like that
neither.
storyline existed. So
Huhi
it
and
was really cool.
6A, they went to
Is it
MSI
6A?
finals.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
It was
So
Huhi and 6A. So
Huhi and
go ahead.
6A went to MSI with CLG back in 2015
Darshan.
or 2016.
It was 2016. Darshan,
Um,
X Smithy, Huhi, Stixay, Afromu. They made it all the way to MSI finals.
yeah, it
That was
was
6A's first split, right?
Yep.
yeah, it was crazy. It had like the
Oh
craziest
wow.
first split I've ever seen of a player.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, that it's pretty cool to think about. Like Licorice, his should have gone to MSI back in 2020. That would have been his first MSI, I think. But then they got canceled because of COVID.
Oh
So he's
yeah.
pretty like, excited to, see what, play against these people that
Good
he's
for
been
him.
watching, LCK, LPL.
Mhm.
Um, it's pretty exciting. That Saturday match definitely, I think, was more important than the championship match.
It kind of felt like that to me.
I think I agree with that in a lot of ways. I mean, like props to you guys though because that was that was honestly like a pretty tightly contested final, I think, except for game 4. But we'll get into that later, I guess. But I thought like game 1 you guys almost had like you smoked them in the early game. And like that honestly should have been like a 5-game series, honestly.
It really
Like
should have.
you guys played really well. I did
Yeah,
not
thanks.
expect like Golden Guardians to like level up the way they did going into this weekend and even between like Saturday and Sunday. Like it was actually pretty insane.
Yeah, C9 was one of those teams that was just almost untouchable during the season. But I think as we started scrimming them more and more in like during playoffs, like we were like, oh, we actually can kind of beat this team. And so I'm glad that we put on an entertaining weekend for sure. Like not just as like a GG employee, but also as like a fan.
Yeah.
It's always sad to see just like 3-0 stomps, 3-0 stomps.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, and it should have probably gone to 5 games, but it is what it is. I will
Hmm.
say I was very surprised both days the number of GG fans. I think
Yes.
we fully were
Totally
going
agree.
into
Yeah.
this weekend thinking like, all right, it's gonna be like 90% FlyQuest, 90% C9, and
Yep.
then like maybe 10% 100 Thieves. Whoever, like
100
whoever.
Thieves.
Like, like
One,
we're just
I saw
like
quite a
Who
bit of
invited
100
my
Thieves jerseys
man?
though. I
No, no,
saw
um
there was
quite a
not
bit
a
of
100
100 Thieves
Thieves.
jerseys. But
It's
Not
yeah.
me
funny
though.
because Tenacity had a Cloud9 jersey that Fudge signed at the back.
I
And
know.
that was hilarious.
Actually wearing his C9 jersey while a bunch of people were wearing 100 Thieves jerseys it was
There's
so funny.
some kind of irony there, yeah.
He's such a
yeah,
silly guy.
but when we
Agreed.
were walking
It's
onto
very
the
nice.
stage and doing like tech check, like the crowd was so loud for GG. It was like
Yeah.
I think that
Yeah.
hyped up the players a lot. Um, we
Yeah.
always like I don't know, we're always seen as underdogs. I think which is fair because we didn't end the regular season on that strong of a note.
Mhm.
But I think it's kind of cool, like this whole Cinderella story, and kind of like, you know, kind of similar to like the CLG thing back in the day, with also with 6A and Huhi. Um, it was really cool to see for sure. It was a deafening crowd. Like I'm standing up there and I'm just like I can barely hear myself think.
It was
Everyone's
Yeah.
so
screaming.
loud. It was really nice.
Yeah,
That's
man.
why I kind of. Oh,
Oh,
go
sorry, go
ahead.
ahead.
That's why I kind of want to challenge anyone who's kind of like, it was an empty arena, it was an empty studio, and I'm
No,
just
The
like,
that's a
worst,
meme.
the
That's a
worst
I'm
meme.
narrative
in.
imaginable.
Granted, I'm in the arena. I am extremely biased, but I can tell you that the sections that were in front of me were filled all the way up, and that's like row D to row V or Z. Like
Yeah.
it was filled. The
My
thunder sticks were
section,
quite loud, and it echoes in that arena. Like the thunder sticks, you can hear on broadcast.
oh
I
my
feel
god, yeah,
like.
it was
Yeah.
loud.
Yeah. People
I,
were
I
So
think
excited.
it's only unfortunate that people thought the crowd was empty because I mean theoretically it was sold out, I'm pretty sure.
No, it was
Um
close to sell
It was
being
very
sold out.
close. That's what I heard.
Yeah.
but like the corners, like the screens are like on each, four sides, right? Like even you can
Hmm.
see like in my little picture, like that's like the corner where you just can't see the screen, and that's where
Mhm.
the cameras are too. So it just looks not great. But if you see like the sides, the long parts of the arena, it's all filled up.
Yeah, I was sitting on like
Yeah.
it's like a rectangle. I was sitting on like the short side of the rectangle, kind of. It was like at the end, and my section was full. I was like seeing if I could like move up a little bit because I wanted to get a little closer to get a better video. Um, there was nowhere for me like to move. It was so insane. Like
Yeah.
both sides of me. Actually, this is kind of a point of pain because between every game I would go out. So that's like for 5 games I would go out every single time, and I would have to pass because I was sitting right in the middle. I had to have to pass like 8 people on either side to get out of the row. Like
Yeah.
I mean, it was just kind of a testament to how full our section was. There was no space like for me to even like get out. Like I hate that people were like, "Oh, it looks empty." Like I showed like I think I tweeted a video of the arena and like it kind of like blew up and because it was like showing just how full it was. I don't know. I
Yeah.
guess you can see from the broadcast how it's kind of like, oh, it's empty, but it wasn't in the
Yep.
slightest.
No, I also did a tweet about it during game 5 when everyone had their phone flashlights on, and I
yeah, for
ended up
silver
captioning.
scrapes. Yeah.
Yeah, for Silver Scrapes, and I captioned it like, "Wait, don't these guys know LCS is dead? Like, what's going on?" But yeah, I don't know. It's a big meme that people are like, "Oh, LCS is dying, guys. League of Legends." Like, I'm. It would take like consecutive catastrophic failures from Riot Games at this point for LCS, I think, to actually just die. You know what I mean? And honestly, LCS is in like a really. It's actually gone in like a really good direction these last couple of years. Oh man, and it's funny too because like Jackie announced yesterday that she had to leave because of health reasons, but she really was the start of that turnaround.
She was. Oh my goodness. I'm very sad that she
Yeah.
wasn't able to like she's not like able to continue as the
I
commissioner.
Shout out to
prayed she
Jackie.
comes back one day.
Shout out to Jackie
Yes.
Felling. You have done a lot for the LCS
Likewise.
as LCS commissioner. I hope whoever steps in her shoes they have a big role to play, and hopefully
Yeah.
you listen to community sentiment and like global sentiment as well, and hopefully find a compromise between the two. I think what Jackie did a really good job, from what I hear, is she had a good voice between teams, community, and global, if I'm understanding her role correctly, and she was very open and communicative, and I appreciate that as a fan. I want like
Yeah.
the people I look up to that listen to me or like listen to fans feel at least public to me where I feel like I can express my opinion and maybe it could be heard. So
Yeah.
I hope the whoever is the next commissioner, they have a big role to play, and I hope they're ready to see what the LCS community has for them. So
Yeah.
um, I would like to say as well, like I live tweeted both days. I live tweeted Saturday and Sunday because I was very fortunate to sit front row. A lot of people asked me if I was given those tickets. I paid for these tickets, okay? Like I paid for my front row tickets. These were not given to me. So I was front row. I was able to see the opening ceremony with Dash in front of me. That was really cool. Got to
That
see the
was cool.
fireworks. I was very fortunate enough to see the walkouts as well, so I got to see FlyQuest and C9 walk out from my corner. That was very cool. If I yelled, like I yelled Blabber's name at some point and he heard me,
Let's
so I thought
go.
that was really cool. But I do want to say
Blabby.
like the crowd, Blabby, the crowd was very loud. it was or Sunday was very loud for C9. You can hear the reverb for sure. But Golden Guardians, like
We
were
got some
very
cheers
loud.
for Golden Guardians going.
I'm
feel
glad
like
there were
FlyQuest
some
as
on
well.
Sunday.
Yeah.
FlyQuest, I feel like the first 2 games were quite loud, and I think that crowd turned into Golden Guardians. But FlyQuest chants were quite loud, I think, for first, at least for game 1, from what I remember.
I think you're right. I remember. I think during the I don't remember like before game 1. I think who was the MC?
It was
Rafa
Kangas.
Oh
Kangas
no,
and
Kangas.
someone else. I
Blaze.
forgot.
Blaze.
Blaze.
Okay.
Yeah.
They were like hyping up the crowd, and they were doing like Guardians and FlyQuest chants.
Yeah.
Like, the FlyQuest chants were just so much louder.
Yeah, Empress. Yeah, that was so
Really?
sad.
I think on my side, actually, the Golden Guardians chants were really loud. That was where like the surprise began for me. Where I'm like, okay, a lot of people are here for GG. You love to.
I was
see it.
surrounded by FlyQuest fans.
But I
was
think
And they
That's
all
great.
turned to Golden Guardians.
yeah, I think
Yeah, that's
we
what happened
we
for me.
turned them, which was nice.
Yeah.
I got to go to we have like a suite for like all the teams had their private suites for like VIP guests. I got to go up there for a couple games. Dude, that energy is so amazing up there. Like that was my first finals, even like as a fan, and it's just so cool to just yell like as loud as you
Yeah.
can to cheer for your team and
Yeah.
just hear the casting. It's pretty cool.
Yeah. No, it was good. Finals were great too. All things considered, like Golden Guardians played well. I'm pretty excited for how you guys are gonna do at MSI. And um wait, actually, okay, Ryan,
Mhm.
I actually kind of want to know your thoughts on this because what did you think about game 4 draft for your team? I just want your thoughts
Um,
real quick.
Oh, are you
Game
I can
referring to
tell it
day
to you
1
if
or
you
day
want.
2?
let me
Are you
let me
referring to
go.
day 1 or day 2?
I'm referring to day 2 in game 4.
Okay.
Let me
Let me
look
see.
up the Game 4 draft again.
That's all right. I got you. Actually, hold on. Let me do it this way. So Golden Guardians, it was the Malphite, Wukong, Galio, Lucian Nami, and then Cloud9 had the Olaf, Poppy, LeBlanc, Zaya, Rakan.
Um, I think it's. I mean, I'm not a draft expert, but I think the comp was fine. I know. I think there's always an argument for like what bot do you want? You want Zeri Lulu. You want
Yeah.
Zeri something else. Lucian Nami, Zyrakan. I think what we kind of learned, like it was both of our coaches. It was the first time in their respective position, like I was head coach and assistant head coach.
Yeah.
I think something to keep in mind is like just the momentum of champs. Like Fudge had an insane Olaf game 1, I think, right? And then the
Olaf.
game three,
You guys should have won game 1. For Sunday's the match
Yeah.
against C9, you should have won.
That was
You
so
should have won.
sad.
And I firmly believe that you guys should have won, but literally it's because Blabber was on Olaf. I saw
Fudge was on
3
Fudge.
5
It
stars.
was Fudge
Fudge was on,
Olaf.
yeah.
Was it a Fudge Olaf? Sorry.
God,
I just saw
Fudge
the Olaf. I'm like,
is
we can't do
so
this no more. Like, I'm
Yeah,
so
was
sorry.
good.
the
Olaf
team
was
fighting, I
crazy.
think, just kind of got to us. C9 is really, really good at like
They
team
are.
fighting. Yeah, and we kind of got outscaled in a way.
It feels like even when you're Giga ahead, you have to pick the right fights against that team or they'll just randomly win. Like
Yeah, no, they're really smart. I think game 1's like a perfect example of that. Like the biggest compliment I think I give them is like how coordinated they are, because it's actually like ridiculous how they had a lead for a long time, but they team fought so well even while being down. Like I don't even know, it was 10,000 gold or something.
it was like
ridiculous
10K
like
at some
that.
Yeah.
point. Yeah.
And they would go not quite even, but they'd pick up like just fat shutdowns for like Berserker and like Emenes or whoever.
Fudge got the 10K
right?
or the 1K from Stixay and it felt over from there.
Yeah. That was when I really started to worry because like their comp scaled well, and I think they just picked up way too much gold. And I also think, actually, I can't remember what the objectives were looking like, but yeah, I mean,
Oh, Golden
was a
Guardians
really-
did get a lot of objectives at first. Me and my sister were
Yeah.
talking about that.
because that was kind of like how I expected. Because my big question going into the series was like, okay, Golden Guardians usually good early games, and how I expected, like if you guys were to lose, it would be from either like a fumble or just crazy fucking outplay from Cloud9, and unlucky that did partially happen in games 1 and kind of 4,
Yeah, I
but
think
it was still good stuff.
for both those games are just kind of like small individual mistakes that added up. We were, if we didn't like keep snowballing that lead that C9 had.
Yeah.
It could have been like a game 4 from FlyQuest again, where we just have
Mhm.
some like one crazy team fight.
Mhm.
But I think the Jess was fine. It's just like we just lost too much early. Is my
Yeah. I
kind of
feel you.
opinion on that.
I think my
I will
concern with that draft was mostly that there was too much pressure on 6A, and
That's true.
the game felt when I was watching game 5, I was already a little worried, especially because Fudge R5 the Olaf. But then when Berserker and oh my god, brain Sven, when they got that early 2v2 kill, I did start sweating because I was rooting for Golden Guardians right that series, especially after how well it was going game 1. But yeah, it got really tough. Berserker is a very good player.
He's
I will
very
say,
good.
I think if we want to talk about MVP real quick, Fudge deserved MVP. I will not be elaborating on this. Fudge should have gotten MVP. I should have seen my Pookie Bear up there holding that little statue like he actually should have served, but instead it
Who
was
got it?
Berserker.
Berserker?
Berserker got
Berserker.
it.
There's
Nah,
nothing wrong
we're
with
capping.
Berserker. Berserker was very good. He did. He
we're
probably
capping.
deserved it just as much as Fudge did. But
He
I'm
deserved
just
more.
extremely biased. I
Oh,
am
okay.
extremely biased.
I think
At
it
least you're honest.
depends
At least you're
on.
honest about it.
Yeah, true.
I think it depends on how you define MVP, right? I think that's the
Yeah.
problem with the award too. Just everyone has their own different definition. It's like some
Yeah.
people say just who played the best, and then some people just say like if you took that person away from the team, how well would that team do?
Yeah.
I
Which
think
is
if
like
we go by that, it should be Gory. But
Gory,
Really,
I
I would have said
also agree.
River, but
The
Gory,
River or
Gory and
Gory?
River both
Saturday's
smurfed.
game, Gory's Lissandra was insane.
That shit was crazy.
Gory's Ari, I think he played Ari, was insane
Yep,
as well.
they are.
Like I still like even though I've watched this game for a whole year, I'm still trying to like learn how this stuff works still. And, like
Uh-huh.
I was watching the Lissandra game and the Ari game, just like my mouth like dropped. I'm just like, there is no way he has this
It's
much of a
good.
lead, let alone like actively using it for your advantage. Like it was very I was like really impressed by Gory and River, even though I
Yeah.
was rooting for FlyQuest on Saturday. I was really impressed by Gory and River and like how they managed to play together. Like I felt like like mid jungle synergy or whatever. Like I felt that on those games, and
Yeah.
I was very impressed. Even though I was like a FlyQuest fan for Saturday personally.
Yeah, that
Valid.
So
2v5 was it game 3? I don't remember. But that 2v5 with Wukong Lissandra, we were all going crazy in the
Oh
room.
my god, I
It was
bet.
I
I
was
think
so
they
hype.
streaming
showed it
after
on
that one.
camera actually.
Probably.
Yeah.
We were going kind of berserk.
Dude,
I
yeah,
love
I
the
mean, it
shot
was a
of
good
you
play.
holding. I don't know if y'all remember, but there's a shot of Inero like calling or FaceTiming the team. That's actually Ryan holding
Dude,
the phone.
it was
Oh,
so
really?
funny. It was so funny.
That was funny.
They're all, all talking. We're talking about draft, and then it was a Discord like video call. I'm like, why is Nick calling me? Because when he did co-streams, sometimes he would like text, in case he wanted, questions or things to send to the coaches.
Yeah.
Because he's watching like from a bird's eye view. So he's calling me. I'm like, okay, I should pick up. And then I pick up. He's just drunk off his, you know what,
Yeah.
bro. He's so just wasted. And he's like, Ryan, get the team. And then, uh, he just starts talking and hyping up the team. He's like, Eric Ritchie, you're so good, man. Everyone started laughing, and it actually broke up a lot of the tension. I think that was the one thing that saved the kind of the momentum and the morale
That's
between
good.
game 4 and game 5. And then they showed it on broadcast, which was also very funny.
Yeah. No, that was a good moment.
That
Shout out
was.
to Inero.
If you
My God.
catch the Ovly co-stream and look at, you can kind of hear what he says, because that happens right after uh, that Malphite ulti and then the Rakan, and then we just end the game.
True.
He was also extremely drunk then. He was talking. There's a really funny copy pasta in our Discord. It's like how he like talks about he's punting to Zimbabwe, and then
Sorry,
yeah.
he's what?
Let me find it. No. I'm finding it. Where is
As
it?
Ryan is trying to find this copy pasta, I would just like to say Inero was ecstatic after Saturday's win. Like
Oh
he
my
when
Oh
he
god,
yeah,
went
he
yeah.
outside for
was.
his
He was
Uber,
just
I think
co-streaming with
he
Ovly.
had the biggest grin on his face. His mouth was
Yeah.
open. I think two people he recognized walked up to him and he's just like like he is screaming outside. It is 40 degrees. Like we're all waiting for our Ubers. Like shout out Inero, like you doing the co-stream and then like obviously not knowing how
Ha!
your team would do, and then
That's
like
look at the chat.
like watching your team win in front of you and then like having that reaction. It's such a visceral, like very human reaction. And it's like moments like these where Ryan's talking about like he's calling the team and broke up the energy, like it broke up the tension. Like that's what I love seeing in League of Legends, right? Like I love seeing, of course, really pop up plays, but those human moments to me, you're telling me that like he's drunk on the co-stream or like he's losing it outside the arena, like
Yeah,
that makes me super excited because like these people at the end
me
of the day
too.
are just like literally people, right? Like he's a
Yeah,
GM coach or whatever, but like he's so ecstatic, he is losing it outside the arena, and I loved seeing that. Like, shout out to Inero, like you were so happy after Saturday.
This
yeah,
this
yeah.
copy pasta is so funny.
Wait, let me see the Poppy.
It's because I
Oh,
It's
remember
Ryan
so
put
he
it in the
said that he
top.
said that in the stream. They showed it on broadcast, like the
yeah.
clip where he's
I don't
losing it after you guys won.
I don't know how much they censored because we were prepping beforehand, but we
Quite a
saw
bit.
the clip on on the TV in our room,
Yeah,
and we all started laughing.
yeah. They censored a lot because he said that a
Yeah, no, I'm not
lot. But
surprised.
that made it funnier.
It was just like, oh, are you talking about day two when they showed the co-stream
Yeah,
clip? They
yeah.
censored
That
like
one.
half of it. You just hear like bleeps like throughout the whole clip. But yeah, I feel like we talked a lot about Saturday's game. We talked quite a bit about. Did anyone have any thoughts about Golden Guardians versus C9? I'm happy it went to 4 games. I thought it was I thought it was gonna be a 3-0 personally, but I'm happy
Me
to see
too.
4 games. Um, Golden
I'm
Guardians like
glad it was
went
not a
out
3-0.
flying.
I mean,
So
yeah. It was
Non-biased opinion, but I'm glad it
oh,
wasn't
of
a 3-0.
course. I mean, as any league fan, 3-0 finals usually sucks. I think we were all rooting for uh, a decently lengthy series, and we did get that. Like again, like all the games, maybe that fourth one were like super competitive. Um, we got a lot of hype moments. Shout out River and Gory again. Those guys are crazy. Shout out Huhi. I know this isn't in the
The
C9 series, but the
Jarvan.
Jarvan
the Jarvan
support, the
support.
tech, bro, that was so sick. I actually like. It's just such a fuck you to champs like Zaya.
Uh,
Like, it's so good.
it's
I
so
loved it.
funny he picked it.
He never played it, right? That's what I heard.
No, he didn't play it in
He
scrims at all. He was just like, "It's really good here, guys. Trust me."
Dude,
the
I love that. That clip, please. I don't know how much sway you have over like the content people and all that, but I need you to like somehow get the comms if you have it of picking the Jarvan on Twitter, and I will retweet that a quintillion times. Oh yeah, Reba's literally in this chat.
um I will say we played it once, but like it didn't really count. He played it
Okay.
once, and I think the bot lane went like 0 and 20, and so we're like, okay, it sucks. So like
Oh.
we're just like,
Wait,
all
who
right.
went 0-20? Who went
No, like
0-20?
I think it was like 0-10, 0-10.
6A and Huhi or
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because they were just
oh
like we were just limit
unlucky.
testing at a certain point.
Respect. Respect.
And so I saw it. I'm like, oh no.
Oh no, you remember the
But
scrim. Dude, I'm telling
Jay,
you, scrim win rates are fake. It's okay.
it's actually
Scrum
true.
bucks are fake.
Scrim
Yeah.
rates are actually fake.
No, they are. They are.
But Huhi has a knack just to pull out a champ and then just play it on stage for the first time or second time, and then he just pop off. He said it, I think, on the stage interview after day one. He's like, "Yeah, I just have confidence, and the team trusts that I'll do well, and he does well." And that's really true.
I love that. We
I
need that.
loved I loved watching Huhi's cam whenever he like
He was
lost
so
the player.
It's so funny.
smiley. Oh
I,
my
I noticed
goodness.
broadcast like only showed him for at least a game
Because
or
he
so. I
smiles.
like
He's literally always smiling after
it was
every play.
it's what I mentioned earlier, is just like that's the moments I love seeing in League. Like seeing this genuine expression, and I know it's a high stakes of tournament and he's just like, I'm having fun. And you could tell the Golden Guardians guys, like at least day one for me, were having fun. I have a video of staff like hugging each other after their win. I see Ryan in the video personally. I think like Licorice is thrown up in the air or something. Like some player is like hugged and like he's thrown up in the air. Like
I
it's
love it.
it's just this like outpour of emotion that I'm just like, this is what I love viewing, because it's like this is what the game means to you. It means so much that you're gonna have all these emotions, and it's like you empathize, and I loved it.
Yeah.
Just I thought the Huhi Cam was so cute. Whoever at Riot decided just to be like, we're just gonna focus on him for this game, like You did well. That was a
They
cute
knew.
moment. I loved
They
it.
knew what
They
to
knew.
do.
That's my favorite reaction every time. He just leans back and just starts clapping. I think it started
Yeah.
in the 100 Thieves series. That was the first time he did it, as far as
Mhm.
I could tell, or at least they broadcasted it. And then he just did it every series after that, like once or twice. I think the weekend maybe did it like every game. Um,
Legit, it was so
it was
slay.
so
He's so
funny.
iconic.
This
I
literally
am.
like the content. That's the content like I fucking live for when it comes to like esports or just like any competition.
I love seeing people be
Like
happy. Oh my
not
god.
even just people be happy, but like those human moments like you were talking about
Yeah.
earlier, Numi. And that's like we do get some of that with LCS, but I really think they need to do more. And there are like players and teams who don't get as much of that attention, and I feel like they really need it because like I'm so convinced if you tell the story properly, even the worst teams and the worst players in the league, you can get fans to care about them. You can get fans to invest in them.
Exactly.
And league needs that.
We do.
I
Oh my gosh.
Oh, go ahead, Delphi.
I was gonna ask if we could talk about like Fanfest a little bit.
I
'Cause
do want to point out before we like transition to that, just pointing to beat, like I kind of want to bring that narrative to like Emenes, right? Emenes was crying at the end of C9's win, and that's like what I love to see, right? He's a
Yeah.
challenger player, like brought up to LCS, like halfway mid split, and he's standing ovation. I don't know if he's ever played arena stages like that, and he's sobbing, like actually sobbing, and like that's the
Yeah.
visceral moments that I love to see, and like my heart feels for you as a fan, and like of course I want to support you more as like a
Yeah.
like
I
your
really hope
pro.
for M&S
So.
like they I don't know, his story without getting too much into it, his story is like so it's a little tough. Like the stuff that he's dealt with, like getting to this point. I think that's why it was like such a big deal for him. And I hope at some point in the future, like, after he has a bit of a tenure in LCS is the thing they like talk about. Cause then you can really appreciate like how hard it was for him to get to this point. And it's not even because of skill, because like the dude's an incredibly skilled player. And from talking to people who used to coach him and stuff, that was always the case. Like his ability to play this game was never an issue. So it's cool that he finally and he's also like the nicest guy ever. Holy shit. I like bumped into him at the after party. I didn't realize it was him at first because he's just like really simple, like zip up hoodie, all that stuff. I bumped into him and I'm like, oh sorry, man. And I looked back, I'm like, oh wait a minute, you're Emenes. So I told him, I'm like, oh dude, like congratulations. I casted you in Challengers League, all that stuff. Good stuff. Like keep it up. And he said thanks. And he gave me a hug.
oh my
He like
god!
he's
That's
literally
so
like, "Oh, thanks, man,"
adorable.
and then he hugs me. I'm like, "What? Okay." I'm literally like,
Very
I
big
was
difference from when you saw a wild turtle.
what? Why? What? Oh, no, you were there for that. I forgot. Nah, it's
Yeah.
okay. We don't talk about that. We don't talk about that.
Wild
But
turtle ran checked him. It was
yo,
so
I got
sad.
turbo rand checked. It's okay. It's okay. It doesn't matter. M&S made up for it like 1,000-fold, and
That's
also
so
all the other
cute.
players I talked to. Yeah, that's actually like destroyed me physically and mentally.
All the
But
people I talked
good
to
guy.
at C9 after party were all really, really nice.
Imagine going to
Yeah,
the
yeah, they
after
were.
party.
Imagine.
I
Imagine.
mean, imagine, yeah. Ha, ha, ha,
Oh.
I'm
ha.
here for the
Um,
vibes, guys.
I
I'm here
don't
for the
know if it was
vibes.
the alcohol, but
No, it wasn't.
no,
Well, when
no.
I saw him, he was when I saw him, he hadn't had anything yet. Like he just got. I think that was when the C9 guys just got there. Funny enough.
That's
Bobby said they had to
fair.
carry him out. Oh.
Oh
Ye-
my god! By the
Wait,
end,
so
remember that
C9
tweet
Bob
where he said,
C9 Bobby's in our Twitch chat saying we may or may not have to carry Emenes out. So
I
that's the context.
do I do recall seeing that. Like him
"Oh wow,
someone guiding Emenes onto an elevator just to make sure he got to the hotel safely.
That's good.
Uh but yeah, everyone was nice and like even after the game, we had like all the players. Like I remember like Berserker and our assistant coach,
yep,
Choo Choo's and like 6A Huhi just sitting like in the middle of the dance floor, just standing and drinking and talking about drafts
I
from the
Are
game.
love
you
that."
serious?
Yeah, it was really
That
funny.
is so League of Legends player of them,
Um,
please.
but like after the game, it's like everyone's just super happy and vibing.
That's so sweet.
Yeah, so we're all
That's
gonna
good.
have a fun time in London for sure.
Well,
Yeah,
good luck
I'm
to
so sad
Golden
I can't go to
Guardians.
MSI.
I'm not going to MSI. If anyone who's asking me, I'm going to MSI. Tell Travis that I need a like pay raise. I'm not going to MSI,
Real,
guys. So
real.
like,
You know what?
um,
Since we're talking about it, I'm just gonna Google flights for like the millionth time and then be disappointed.
It
but
does help when
congratulations.
you're
Oh, go
not
ahead.
paying for the flight.
Yeah, I bet it
Okay,
does,
well.
Ryan. I
Okay,
bet it
well.
does.
I was just gonna say, like, good luck to Golden Guardians at MSI. I'm really excited to have you as our second seed,
Absolutely.
but I think Delphi wanted to talk about Fanfest. So Delphi, you want to talk a little bit about what that was on? It started Saturday and Sunday. Yeah. For
Yeah.
Fanfest.
Okay. Fanfest was really fun. I'll say that. When I got there on Saturday, I got there at 12 or like 12:15ish. It was kind of crowded. The lines were really long. I only managed to I barely managed to catch Jojo and Vulcan, which is when I took a picture, like a heart picture with Jojo. And then I came back. I was kind of wandering. And I saw Numiii, and Numiii goes, "Oh, Tenacity's right down there with Reagan, Mrs. Chim Chim."
I
And
remember this.
I was like, "Oh," because I had known he was there at like 11, from like 11 to like 11:45, and he was getting stopped so much he just went upstairs to like the VIP room, and I was like, "Oh, we came back down." So when I tell you, I fucking sprinted. I was like trying to find him, and when I tell you, I ran into him. Like I physically ran into him. Like I bodied this guy. Oh my god, I felt so fucking bad because like he was taking a picture with someone, and I just like slam into him. I was like, oh, I was like, that's the person I was looking for. And then we took a picture. He wasn't smiling, so I asked him to smile. He said nothing in my life to smile about, but then he smiled anyway. So maybe I'm the thing in his life to smile about. Hashtag embrace delusion.
Nice cope.
Hashtag embrace delusion. And then
Ooh.
it was really fun though, because like even though I will say it was a little harder because it was indoors and walking from booth to booth was like, oh, like I think I got like 10,000, 12,000 steps in that day, just because I was like walking around so much.
For real.
Sunday, I thought it was gonna be worse, but the weather was really nice. So even though it was cold, shut up, Arsh. God, I'm like, what do you mean that's not that many steps? Okay, man, I don't go outside in my regular day. Anyway. So Sunday was so much better. Just because it was like while the venue like size was kind of it just felt smaller. It felt easier to walk around. I got there really early, like 11. And sorry. And like I kind of walked around, said hi to friends. I met Jojo and Vulcan, and I took a picture, and then I posted on Twitter, and Vulcan called me the CEO of cringe. So I don't even know what to say to that. But like Fanfest was really, really fun. Like the food was a little bit of a situation because like it was really, really crowded. I think there was way more turnout than I expected. Like some of the food people. But like I had a really good time at Fanfest. I think they kind of like it was a little disorganized, some of the things. Like the content creator meet and greet was a little scuffed. But overall, I think Fanfest is a really, really good touch. I think they executed it really well, and I find it really, really funny that 100 Thieves completely sold out of the merch they were selling at their booth for on the first day. So they made Tenacity do a meet and greet on the second day.
I remember this. I was wondering why I saw Tenacity's like, "Hey, meet me in this section and this row at this time. I'm gonna do meet and greet." Because someone had told me that 100 Thieves had sold out of their exclusive.
They made him do
so
a last-minute meet and greet because they sold out of merch.
Poggers.
You know what? I got to meet him, so.
Oh, you actually like ran into him. That's
yeah, right.
No. I got to meet him at the photo shoot.
Oh, wait,
his meet and greet. Because me and Kiami and my sister, we were like, we're gonna make him do a whole photo shoot, and made it. We did. We did all types of poses, all types of hearts. I posted some of them. They're kind of iconic. I'm not gonna lie.
They were pretty good.
Right.
Yeah, I heard the energy with FanFest on day 2 was really good, a lot better than day 1.
Yeah.
I know Inero and like Reba, our social person, and then a couple of our content people were roaming the halls and outside, giving away hats, and Nick, or was doing
I just want to say,
yeah, someone
photo shoots.
I ran into
Ryan, was it you?
Oh yeah, was it you that was handing out?
Was giving hats?
No, I wasn't.
You were doing
I
that
was
day
downstairs.
1. No,
Nick
Wait,
might
not
have been.
I was gonna say because maybe we actually met that day. Because
we did because when we were meeting, we were talking to Digon. Ryan came and gave me a hat.
Hilarious.
That's right. You were talking to
I didn't
Digon.
realize that was you.
Delphi, you messaged me like, "Hey, can I get one of those hats?" I'm like, "Yeah, yeah, yeah, for
Yeah,
sure."
yeah, and guess what, Ryan? My
Mhm.
sister lost it. So
Oh,
I gave mine to Leo, a worthy sacrifice.
it's
honestly, a
okay.
worthy
Well,
sacrifice.
they're
I Oh, go
we're
ahead.
seeing if we can get more.
Huge.
Okay.
I mean, you could sell those. No cap. They would sell. I'm telling you right now.
But yeah, it
I just wanna
was
say, like,
really
it
cool.
was like I ran into Reba, and she's like, "Have you seen Inero? I need to film content." I was just like, "I don't know." And then I ran to Inero, he's like, "Reba's making me late for content." I'm like, "Well, I just saw her." And then, like, it was just I was walking around the arena, it was a constant game of I saw Inero and I saw Reba, but never at the same time. And on my third walk around, they had just passed each other for 5 minutes. I'm like, "Hey, Reba's that way." And then he's like running across the arena trying to get Reba. And the next walk around I saw, they were both together, so I just thought it was funny. I'm just like, I just keep bumping into GG staff, but like they couldn't find each other for at least 10 minutes. I'm like,
I'm just throwing
this
this
is so
out
funny
there.
to watch
You
in
ever
front
seen
of me.
Reba and Ryan in the same place? I mean, I haven't.
I
I have
have
not seen
not.
Reba and Brian
I
in the same
haven't.
place,
Yeah.
actually.
Yeah.
Oh,
Even
Reba
even
and Ryan are the same person.
we what?
I
Oh,
have no
maybe
comment
what?
on that.
Yeah, I bet you wouldn't. Um, what was I gonna say? FanFest was cool. Honestly, I had one achievement that I needed to get done, and that was buy the Gwen plush, and I did. So I won.
I'm so happy
But
for you.
thank you. I also saw this was a bonus. I also saw JoJo and Vulcan, which was cool.
Jojo and
Uh,
Vulcan are very cool.
yeah, they're nice. JoJo was on my flight actually on the way home. Funny enough, because he also lives in Toronto.
Oh. Huh. Oh, yeah, 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 yeah. Huh.
Actually, it's crazy. JoJo and Wild Turtle. You got a lot of Canadian players.
I did not know Wild Turtle was Canadian, I'll be
I did
honest.
Yeah,
not know
he
Wild
is.
Turtle was Canadian
He was one
either.
of the first Canadian like players I knew about, and that was when I realized, oh wait a minute, there's a lot of Canadian LCS players or at one point or now or whatever. It's cool.
You know what's crazy? You know who else is a Canadian player in
Please.
NACL?
Please.
There's a lot. There's Masu, there's Diamond, there's
No, you know who's
Tenacity,
a Canadian
there's
player from Toronto in LCS that's not named Jojopian?
Wild Turtle.
Tenacity.
I
Tenacity.
said
He
Tenacity.
said
Mm.
tenacity.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
I,
yeah, but I had to say Tenacity again, you know?
oh, we had to like really make sure it was emphasized and
Yeah.
like yeah. So we got the weight of it. I understand. I actually met
Mhm.
Tenacity too at the after party.
He's
He is not
chill.
what I expected.
Oh, no, no,
Mostly
he's
because
very
he's like a big memer on Twitter.
very
But
different. He's very shy in
yeah,
person.
yeah,
He's
I
really
believe it.
quiet.
He's nice though. Like I told him, I was like, "Yo, dude, I was watching you all last year. Glad you got on 100 Thieves, even though you left as I joined NACL. You know, I'm not salty or anything. Like I was just joking around with him. He's like, "Oh, thanks, man, appreciate it." And I'm like, "Oh, you're welcome. Good luck."
I was hanging out with some of his friends. They said he moves like a sloth because they were driving him around North Carolina and they went to
Mhm.
like pick him up at his hotel and he moves like a sloth.
He's
He
just
moves
slow,
at
huh?
1 miles per hour.
No, he's kind of
It's
tall too. That's surprising.
yeah, yeah, yeah. They said him and JoJo both move very, very slow.
They're on gamer time, I fear.
Literally.
But yeah, I think we all enjoyed LCS finals. I enjoyed watching it in the arena, and I've been watching clips of the VODs as well. So it's been honestly, I think like spring finals was a lot of fun. Really
Yeah.
amazing games from FlyQuest, Golden Guardians, and C9. Congratulations for C9 for winning the split, and C9 Golden Guardians to going to MSI. I will be cheering on our NA teams as we don't get clapped fully at MSI. But I kind of want to wind down the episode a little. Kind of want to do an outro, and so just kind of say like one thing you want to shout out, right? So for me, my name is Numiii. That's spelled Numiii. And as always, I would love to shout out anyone who walked up to me either at Hotline League, any of the events. I ran into people at like restaurants I was at as well. Thank you so much for walking up to me. Kyomi gave me a gift as well, so thank you so much for anyone walking up to me saying that I helped them get to finals or I helped them get to FanFest. As always, I love and appreciate every one of you, and that's why I do the things I do. So people love their experience a lot more. So shout out anyone who walked up to me. You guys are great. Anyone who took a picture, please send it to me as well. So Beat, are you
Um,
next?
Oh, okay.
Beat, go
Or
ahead.
Delphi?
Okay.
Beat.
Um, I mean, kind of same, because I mean, a surprising amount of people came up to me and were like, "Yo, you do Challengers League? That's great." I'm like, "Whoa," because like literally, I've never in my life been like recognized off some shit I do like online, you know. So that was cool. There were a lot of people were super nice. Oh my god, like some LCS people were like, "Oh, what's up, Beatdown?" And I'm like, "Huh?" So shout out to them too. Shout out to you guys who I saw there. That was really fun, meeting a lot of different people and seeing the same sort of people. And shout out LCS for a great event. There you go.
I'm Delfino, Delphi.wave on Twitter. I just want to shout out all the people I met, my friends, people who knew me from Twitter. Getting greeted as Delfino from Twitter is a little embarrassing, but I really
Oh, no.
Maybe don't tweet embarrassing things then.
okay. It was really nice meeting everybody. I need to get even more pictures next time, even though half of my phone storage is being occupied by LCS Finals pictures right now.
Valid.
But and I also want to shout out Elaine because when I sent her the the picture of me and Jojo making a heart, I don't think she breathed for the next 5 minutes. So shout out Elaine, shout out everybody I met. I'm Delphi.wave on Twitter, and that's it for me, I guess.
Huge.
Yeah, I shout out to I met amazing people this weekend. Everyone was super nice. The crowd, the energy, was amazing. I met a lot of the 5Quest people. I met a lot of the C9 people. Johnny and Bobby, the other C9 managers. They're like the real homies. So yeah, it was a really cool experience. Yeah, I mean that's pretty much it. I hope we do NA proud at MSI. You can follow me on Twitter at Ryan Lau, 2 N's, 2 U's.
Thank you so much for listening to episode 27, LCS Spring Finals Edition. Congratulations once again to C9 and Golden Guardians. Please send them your love as we go to MSI. So thank you so much for listening on this episode. Follow us on YouTube, Spotify, and Twitter. And yeah, we'll see you next week. See ya. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.